we're
I still
going.
prefer
We're
art.
going. Okay.
Hi, welcome to the first episode of the Press podcast. I can't even say it yet. I'm still working on it.
Yeah. Let's do it again.
Do it again. Okay. Hi, welcome to the first episode of the Umbrella Press podcast. I'm Maria.
I'm Harry, and we're gonna be talking about stuff.
Yeah, we're here to talk about media under the umbrella. So like gender, sexuality, media.
Yeah.
Basically, that's it. And today we're going to talk about Steven Universe, which is kind of the best.
Kind of just like so much great representation and cool stuff going on in there.
Yeah, so we want to talk about like, we're probably going to go off topic a lot, but that's because that's how we roll. If you guys don't know us, we like to talk about lots of things. But we're going to try to focus on character design, Steven Universe, which I feel like is not like something that you would think to talk about when you talk about Steven, because like I feel like the default thing is to like go into like what's happening in the plot or like who's your favorite gem, blah 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 blah. But like there's lots of other stuff that goes into like making a show and enjoying a show.
Anyway, my favorite gems are Peridot and Amethyst.
Oh my god, seriously? You're a
And
Peridot
Garnet.
stan? Oh my god. I feel like everyone's like obsessed with Peridot. I'm just like she's
Oh, she's cute. She yells.
She's,
She's
like,
mean.
yeah.
She's Zim, and I love it.
Oh
I
my
love that she's
God.
Zim. Sorry,
I
that's
have
off topic
not-
already.
No, it's okay. I haven't like fully warmed up to her yet because like I'm just like stuff needs to happen. But the last episode, spoilers, sorry, whatever.
We can cut this bit.
Like it's, hopefully you've seen Steven Universe if you're listening to this.
There will be spoilers in
there
this
will
gender podcast.
Definitely will be. But like Peridot like being in the bathroom and like I think that's the part that like started to endear her to me. Before I'm just like she's mean. I feel like people always like the villain characters. I'm just like, but they're mean though, and I'm like I have to warm up to them.
I love that she like go gadgets her like butt out of a situation and like just on this little helicopter and she's screaming at them. It's just it's really funny to have a character like that and have a character like that be coded as like be agender but be coded as like a woman and be voiced by a woman because you don't really see a lot of that. A lot of women villains, yes, they're mean and they yell, but like they're also like super about their looks and like super about being young and beautiful and like a lot of plots about immortality and
this
stuff
is like
that.
I'm like revisiting like in my head like my children's lit course. We talked about like fairy tales and like stereotypes with like female villains because they're always focused on stuff like that, and like I'm just like that doesn't seem as authentic to me because I'm just like, if you're gonna be evil, do it for like a gosh dang reason.
And like a dude villain gets to be like evil because
he's evil.
Yeah.
And like there's like nothing behind it, but like a lady villain's always just like I'm evil because I want to look like I'm 17 again. I hate Sleeping Beauty. I don't know. Snow White. Sorry.
There's some of those. Sometimes like that kind of character can be played really well, but it has to be. I almost feel like it has to be comedic. Like I really like Yzma from The Emperor's New Groove. That might be because of Eartha Kitt, and Eartha Kitt really sells her.
I completely forgot about her. I love her as a villain because she's like very vain, but it's like like kind of she's like more of like an absurd character. She's not just like. And she's not. It's like not about like girl hate in that sense. It's just like she's evil.
If you want to,
but she's vain.
Absurdity and gender and like foppish stereotypes. The Emperor's New Groove is a great thing to talk about gender with, actually.
Oh my god, I want to.
So if we want to watch Emperor's New Groove and talk about it,
I kind of do.
I would love to do it because it's a super great. Like,
I haven't seen it in years, but I just remember it was like incredible.
It's like such a journey, and Disney outside of Pixar doesn't usually do buddy movies, but they're trying to do that now. Like Tangled is technically a buddy movie. They end up together at the end, but it's kind of about them being like comrades and like hanging out.
I'm thinking about Brave, and I'm like, what, her and her mom? I'm like, her and the bear? I'm like, what?
No, moms do work on building their relationship.
Yeah, they do.
Brave is a pretty touching movie. I do like it.
No, it definitely is. I'm just like, that's not like a buddy film, but Tangled, yeah, I would agree. Like they do end up together, but like they could easily just not end up together and it'd be fine.
It's like I can see Frozen as trying to be a buddy movie, but Kristoff is so mean to Anna that I hate him.
I haven't seen the movie.
Like, it's just like constantly making fun of her, and it's just so rude. It's such a negative attitude because, like, she's girly and she likes boys and she's not good at mountain climbing and stuff like that. And it's like, oh, well, I have to make fun of you because of that.
It's
and
like
I have
the
to
whole,
prove
like,
that you're wrong because you're a girl in this way.
Yeah, I'm making fun of you because I like you. Like, I don't like that kind of attitude.
And, like, Frozen is trying to be feminist in such a weird way that it really comes off as, like, wrong.
I feel like I get that sense without even seeing the movie and just hearing about
Which
it. But I
is-
gotta see it so I can actually
If we
comment
want to circle
on
this
it.
back to character designs
Oh, yeah.
and Frozen and Steven Universe, I think you'll notice something in Frozen. I know it's been harped on to death. You'll probably literally hate me for saying this, but, like, all the female characters look the same.
They do. And I feel like people are like, really defensive about it. And I'm
They're
like,
super defensive about it.
but their arguments like aren't super like well constructed, and
It's
I'm just like they
it's
literally
like-
look the same. I'm like, sorry if like one has like the smallest difference in like their skin above their eye or whatever. Like
Oh,
who
yeah.
cares? Like they look the same, and you like read them the same, and they're both the same body type. Like I feel like they're both like the most same like. Even if like their eyes are different colors, like that's not enough to make it a different character
That
design.
comes into a really important principle in animation, and that's of the silhouette, where the most important part of a character is that if you desaturate, when it's not desaturate, you turn it to, like, fade it to black and just focus on the character's outline. When you do that, it should be a unique shape, and you should immediately recognize that character. You should look at that shape and go, there's Anna, there's Steven, there's Garnet, there's Amethyst, and you can do that with characters in Steven Universe, and you can't really do it with characters in Frozen.
I feel like that's like so valuable, like even beyond like an animation standpoint, just for like viewers, to be able to like identify with characters. I think that's so important, and I love it in Steven, and like that's why I don't have as much respect for like character designs in Frozen. It's like the females are like have the same body type, and then the males also have the same body type, and they're complete opposites. And I feel like there's like no commonalities between body types at all.
I think there's something that's I think there's like this great double standard and irony in the animation industry, is that there's so much focus on having good design, and there's like, don't make your design about surface details. Always make your design about silhouette, except when that character is a woman.
I don't understand like how people aren't like bothered by that, even if they don't have like if they're not analyzing it from like an analytical standpoint. I feel like if you see characters in movies that all have the same body type, like, and it does not match yours, like I feel like that's something that people should think about, because it really affects the way you like internalize thoughts about like body shapes, and in relation to like how you other people around you look. I feel like if I like watched a show like Steven, and like every character had the same body type, and that was like stereotypical of like animated women, I'd be like, I do not see myself in any of you guys. Like all the gems look all the same. Like where could like a person like me fit into a show like this? But with Steven, I don't have that problem, which is cool.
I guess, and the fact that all of the gems have different personalities, they all have designs that really match their personalities and are sort of relevant and realistic body types, and that every gem, if I remember correctly, distinctly has a moment where it's like, she's beautiful and she's amazing and she's capable, and Steven loves them. And I think Steven as a viewpoint character is really important to look at, because we like characters because Steven likes them a lot of the time. That's why with Peridot, a lot of people like Peridot even before she kind of had her redemption arc starting, because Steven liked her. Steven was like, hey, Peridot, what's up? Like, and through this combination of experiencing like positive feelings through like point of view and through like sharing body types and like sharing personalities and letting characters who are identified as sort of like somewhere on the cis male spectrum, like somewhere in the agender feminine spectrum, like that's so important.
Definitely, I agree. And going back to like Steven liking characters, like helping us to like them, I feel like that's a lot of characters on the show that you could feel questionable about. Like Lapis, I feel like everyone kind of latched on to Lapis very quickly because Steven latched on to her very quickly. And I feel like most of the time he has a very like open heart and is really like welcoming to people that are not like him. He doesn't really understand, but he feels a connection to in some way. And I feel like like if we take on the role of Steven, I feel like we do the same exact thing, and we can connect with people or characters that like we may not otherwise connect with, just because we feel open to the idea of connecting with people or characters who are not like us. Because like I have nothing in common with Peridot, I don't think, but I'm still like warming up to her because Steven is like getting closer to her, and like and she's in a setting that's like close to Steven, like she's in like his house, like in his bathroom,
hiding in his shower.
I saw this this fan art today that was Steven giving Peridot his stuffed bear to replace her foot, her like shoe, and like she like started to like the bear and liked cuddling with the bear, and I'm just like, that's adorable. And I feel like it's hard to like see Peridot sometimes as like a character like with like emotions, because like she's very like by the book and like very like following the rules most of the time, and like I don't know, it's like very attached to like order and stability. But if you see like Steven kind of like nudging her in the direction of being like more like open, I feel like that's something that I connect with a lot. So I'm starting to like her a little bit just by talking about her like this. I'm like, she could be okay.
And I think there's so much positivity, like also like Steven and body positivity with the townspeople too. Like there's so many different looking people, and the Steven universe does a really good job at making characters look related.
Definitely.
Without making them look the same.
Yes.
I'm sorry if this is coming out of left field, but there's very good family designs. Like Sadie and her mom look similar. They have similar body types, but they look like different people. Yeah. Even Steven looks a little like his dad, looks a little like his mom. Like.
Yeah. And I don't know the last name, but Ronaldo and
Fryman.
Fryman. That's the last name. I always forget that. The Fryman family, they all look related, but they all like have different like physical characteristics and very different personalities.
Pour one out for Petey.
Yes, that poor child. He's just like, I want to live a peaceful life. And Ronald's like, no, help me film my conspiracy theory videos.
If you look at like body diversity in men, like there's a lot of, you get like really skinny people like Lars, and then you get Ronaldo and Greg, and like the shopkeepers, the pizza family.
I love the
I
pizza
love
family.
the pizza family so much.
Like the pizza family like means like so much to me, because like I feel like I feel like whenever there are like black cartoon characters on a show, it's on a show where the main characters are black, and those are hard to find. So like having like side characters who are black but are like important and have a family and like have like other friends, I feel like they're not just like a one-off character who just like says something like funny and then leaves. Like they actually like have lives on the show. And Jenny's so cool, and I just want to be Jenny sometimes.
I think one of the episodes that felt really real to me and that I really enjoyed was when Steven like goes out with the teenagers at night.
Yes.
And they sort of all have a real talk about how they relate to their families, and all of their families are different.
Yeah.
And they're really supportive of each other from what they're going through with their individual families.
Yeah, I feel like with teen characters, especially like if you see like the older like teenage like group that like looks really cool, I feel like they're always like kind of like threatening, or they're just like you can't relate to them because they're like too cool. I think Lars thinks of them as like threatening and like too cool for him, which they possibly are, but just not in the way he thinks.
Wow.
But it's nice to see like a group of teenagers who like are just very like just so welcoming to this like, I don't know, like 10-year-old 9-year-old boy who's just like I don't know, I feel like I don't know any shows like where like Stephen just could just like go hang out with those teenagers where they're so welcoming and open and kind, which is nice.
With Buck and Jenny and Sour Cream, they're just like so about Steven, and they're ready to listen to him, and they think he's really funny, and I think mostly a genuine way. And when you see like characters interact with teenagers and other things, I guess there's like a weird layer of condescension, or like there's like some aggression underlaying it. I'm thinking of Robbie V and Dipper Pines.
Oh, definitely.
Falls. There's like so much aggression.
Yeah.
When they could be friends.
Yeah.
Or like the teenagers in Gravity Falls. I'm not going to talk about Gravity Falls, I swear to God. But just like a quick comparison, you've got like Tambry, who doesn't seem to care about anything but like updating her social media, which is like just a mean
I don't like that
thing.
stereotype at
like
all. I don't like seeing it played out in media.
You have like like Thompson, who's always trying to like do stuff that isn't safe for him and he doesn't feel comfortable with, so that he can impress them. It's like a pretty unhealthy dynamic. Like,
I feel like in any other show, like Steven, like would be the Thompson of the like, teenage friends. You know what I mean? Like I feel like they would just like pick on him, make him like do things for them, but he would feel like they liked him. But like in Steven, they actually genuinely like hang out with him and think he's cool.
To point out, and a lot of the othering of Thompson, I think, is a body thing. Like Thompson is fat, and the other characters aren't.
Yeah,
fat.
they're all very thin. Yeah, that's true.
And
I feel they're like more willing to accept Dipper, who's like a baby,
literal child.
But like is more like has like more like common like characteristic traits for that group. But Thompson is not thin and has like a not common voice too. And like I feel like they're like oh, he could be easily pushed over because he shouldn't feel like he's cool.
Yeah,
and that's gross.
And I hope they're gonna do an arc related to that. And just to close down the Gravity Falls thing, I think a lot of the only weight positivity I've seen for any character has been for Grunkle Stan.
Oh, that's true.
Because like I think there's a lot of positive things about him, and he's seen as like a strong and good and like good person who's like good person and in a family sense, like with his family.
Yeah.
And like he's fat and he wears a girdle and he's got weird big arms, and it's not bad at all.
It's not bad, and people think of it in like a positive way. Even like the fandom, like I can't tell you how many like ripped Grunkle Stan photos I've seen.
He's like chubby ripped.
Yeah, yeah, and people
great.
appreciate that. But like like going back to that, like if it was a woman or someone who wasn't heavily coded as male and heterosexual, like it would be a different story, and people might not be as receptive to it.
Oh, but people love Jasper. The internet wants Jasper to like bench press them.
Wait. Oh, I was like, which Jasper? But oh, that's true. That's true. But like Jasper like has like typically masculine traits. And I feel like some people like don't like. I feel like some gems are like very coded as feminine. And then people like interpret them as being feminine and like characterize in their heads that they are feminine, like Pearl.
Yeah.
But with Jasper, Jasper is coded as like feminine androgynous sort of, and has like stereotypically masculine features, but I feel like they don't see Jasper as like a feminine person, even though like Jasper like has like muscles and is super ripped, like I feel like I feel like certain traits make people see like certain gendered traits, and I'm like I don't know.
It's like when people on the internet were like, Ruby's kind of more of a male gem, and I was like, holy shit.
I was like, why? Is it because she's like coded as black, or because like I I don't know. I feel like the same thing happens with Garnet sometimes, like, and I love Garnet so much, but I feel like everyone's just like, Garnet is like the tough black woman who doesn't have like the same emotional range as like Pearl might have.
Or
and I'm like, it's
people
just
are
Garnet.
About how confident Garnet is in herself and how much she loves being herself.
Yeah.
Like people will be weird about that too.
Yeah, like how so?
I saw this like, I gotta stop dragging the Tumblr receipts in, but there was like a post that was like, fusion's a sin, and they listed like Garnet as pride, and I was like,
I'm sorry that Garnet is amazing and knows that she's amazing. Like calm down.
Garnet knows she's amazing, is so like just so loving. Like Garnet, like I know she
made
gets
of
mad.
love.
She gets mad, but she loves Steven and is always patient with Steven. She levels with Steven more than anyone else does as far as the gem goes.
And
more
I think
than
people
Greg
would
does
assume that like it'd be like Greg or Amethyst who connects more with Steven, but I really think it's Garnet. Garnet like accepts Steven like unconditionally, and I think that's not always the case with like other. I think it's usually the case with everyone, but like it's not like as like visual. You can't like see that all the time.
Yeah, I think some people, some of the other characters have trouble being more physically affectionate with Steven and are affectionate with him in different ways. Like Amethyst roughhouses and like plays with Steven and hangs out with him and like asks if he wants to watch her eat cardboard boxes and stuff like that. Like, I might catch up on talking about Amethyst and eating later. But like Pearl tries to like baby Steven and treat him like he's 8, and I think has a lot more trouble like being, I don't know, I think Pearl is touchy, but I can't tell. They're all kind of like slapping Steven and you know, like in a light shoulder. I shouldn't have said the word slap, but like petting his head and stuff.
I feel like they like all show their affection in different ways, but I feel like Garnet is like the most obvious way to see it, because like I feel like Pearl like her like babying Steven like is a way of showing that she cares, but she doesn't always do it in the right way. And like Amethyst hanging with Steven is like cool, but like I like don't know if it's like, I feel like Steven knows that Garnet will like always be there for him, and like I don't know, that's like solid. Like, I wouldn't even question it.
Another thing to point out about how they're different and that's important is that it's very rare that when you see feminine coded characters, agender or not, being allowed to show love in different ways, because there's like very much the idea that women shaped people need to love in a certain way and need to be a certain way. Like everyone needs to be like the smothering like Mrs. Weasley kind of character to be feminine.
I'm like picturing like Pearl and Mrs. Weasley like combined. That'd be something.
The real nightmare.
Oh my god, yeah. Oh my god. But that's true though, and I feel like that show does a good job of like showing different ways you can care about someone. And I feel like Steven, like as long as like father tropes go too, like Steven like messes those up a lot with Greg and Steven, because they like level with each other like, all the time, and he's not just like, you have to learn, I'm gonna have to teach you this and this so you can like survive the world and blah 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 blah. And I feel like that's like usually like the fathering type, like having to like teach you stuff and like guide you and like blah 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 blah. But like
seeing someone who is struggling with parenting as much as Greg is and not being 100% portrayed as a bad parent, but still doing things that like hurt his son and kind of like cause problems, and being allowed to do that, it's really cool without being like, well, this is a deadbeat dad who lives in a van and he's poor. But no,
they're not like painting him like as like a villain character or as an antagonist to Steven. Like he's like a support system, like not always the most reliable one, but he still wants to be there to support Steven, even if his actions don't always reflect that.
I'm nodding. There's just a lot of good things to talk about. I think this is a lot of cool stuff. How much gender talk are we wanting to do? Do you want to do more?
We can do some.
Talk more about like relationships in Steven Universe? I think both of them are good topics. We can keep going.
I don't know. I feel like I want to talk more about like body types.
We haven't talked about Rose.
Okay, let's talk about Rose. Rose is such a problematic fave, honestly. Like I feel like everyone's like, I love Rose. I'm like, Rose is a problematic fave. But like that's a different story.
You have some feelings about rose quartz?
Yes.
All right. Okay, let's not dig into the receipts for
I'm not
rose
going
quartz
to
tonight.
Like I'll put my receipts later, like some other time.
Yeah. Oh, tell me after the show.
yeah. We'll talk. But like Rose's body type is like, I don't even know where to start talking about that.
I also I don't know if I want to say this, but she's like the closest the Gems have to like someone having like breasts and is a mother. I don't know. That's not like a bad thing.
I didn't even think about that.
But like most of them are really flat chested.
Yeah.
Which I like. I like that. Even like different shapes, they're still pretty like, or like their chests are like weird 1 unit blocks like garnets.
Yeah.
And it's like not supposed to imply breasts.
Which makes a lot of sense because like they're aliens. Like they don't have to have the same proportions as like other people who are humans who are like coded as female. Like it's not necessary. I feel like that goes along with like gendering aliens.
Yeah. Ever noticed that like the only characters that are agender are aliens and robots? Because I I'm a little bitter about that. I'm going to talk some really nice stuff about Rose because I do really like her, and I think it's really important that there's a body type like hers that is like totally beautiful, totally awesome, and that she's like the mythic parent character, which is never the mother. Like, I think those two things really make me excited about her.
Yeah. I feel like, this is getting on a different show, but Adventure Time, there's spoilers, but there's like kind of an arc where Finn's like, who's my father? I'm lost without having a father. I'm like, dude, aren't you concerned about your mother too? Like, he doesn't even know who his mother is, and he's like, I don't care, just my father matters. I'm like, heck that.
You're like Finn, what the heck, dude?
Finn, like, you know, you probably got like 2 bio parents out there. If you want to find one, why not the other 2? Like, I don't know. That bothers me, and whatever. So I like that, like, in Steven, like, the mythic parent character is Rose, who's the mother. And, oh my God.
Even when both parents are gone and dead, even like in Harry Potter, Lily's not really mythic. James
just
is
like,
mythic.
Yeah, because, like, everyone's like, you're just like your father.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. Like, even though there's eyes, but, like, you're not like your father, or you probably can't relate to your mother except for having the same colored eyes as her. Like, it's not like Lily was really nice and kind, and you're nice and kind too, Harry. It's like James was a troublemaker, just like you.
Actually, like, one of the only characters that, like, really went out there to be like that was, like, in Half-Blood Prince, where Slughorn is the teacher. And he was like, Lily was so good at potions. And,
and he, like, valued Lily's, like, intelligence. I think it's usually just, like, you know, James was a Quidditch star, but, like, Lily was, like, really smart, too, and very talented.
I always feel touchy on Slughorn because he's one of those characters that J.K. Rowling does as the fat and gross and, like, fat as, like, a greedy person who feels like they have access to Harry and other people.
Yeah.
Like, there are not very many positive people who are really skinny or really fat in Harry Potter.
Yeah. And
there's a lot of body type related to their bad. Like, Petunia is really gross and really thin, and she has a horse face, and she says it so much.
Yeah.
J.K. Rowling says it so much.
What the heck is his name? Vernon is fat and terrible, and, like, one of the, like, most hated people in the books, because he does do gross things, obviously, so you can't just excuse him for that. But, like, it just, like, it's a weird pattern that is
and
uncomfortable.
Dudley is, like, fat and greedy and bad, and he doesn't care about Harry.
Yeah.
Like,
it just, like, it's not only, like, offensive, but it's just really, like, obvious, and, like, it's like
it's not clumsy and fat. And like, I'm gonna, like, my receipt. We're doing a Harry Potter episode. My receipts on Harry Potter run so deep. We're kind of like doing a lot of by comparison, because all of these other narratives that we've been talking about do put things into body. A lot of fiction, a very weird dramatized thing in fiction that's developed through our writing culture, is making characters look like what the writer wants you to think they are. And that projects the idea that certain body types are bad because they're related to these character traits.
Yeah. No, that's true. I feel like writers are, like, want to be so obvious that you can, like, see people's traits without, like, seeing any of their actions or, like, hearing their words. Like, you just be like, look at someone and be like, you just look at a character and be like, they're bad or they're good. And sometimes it's, like, it's not that. I'm thinking of, for some reason, Kim Possible, Dr. Draken, and, like, he was, like, he obviously looks very evil somehow, because I don't really know why, just because his mouth is, like, stitched in, and he has this, like, really weird coat. But I think that every, like, writer wants you to think of, like, any, like, bad character as, like very obviously bad.
Like,
and
she goes get, like, weird, and they often have, like, weird face paint, right?
Yeah.
Or is that, like, or are they just really pale? I haven't watched Kim Possible in a long
I don't know.
time.
I think Dr. Draken has, like, blue tinted skin, which is never explained. I feel like there could be, like, some kind of conspiracy theory online where, like, he's not human.
Yzma's, like, a weird gray purple, and in some of the art that you see, the I'm always gonna talk about the Emperor's New Groove. I'm sorry.
That's
this
fine.
is putting it straight on, we're putting it straight on the map. Some of the concept art, she's black. Like,
I didn't know that.
we're gonna talk
Ooh.
we're gonna talk really hard about Emperor's New Groove.
We gotta watch that together. I think it might be on Netflix.
Oh, there's some deleted songs I'll have you listen to too. There's a really good Yzma one, and Eartha just kills it. It's so good. I'm sorry.
No, I gotta hear this.
I'm sorry. We're gonna be talking about Emperor's New Groove forever.
Oh my god.
But
no,
like,
but like,
even in that, their character designs attached to things. Yzma's really thin and like sickly and gross, and that's like she's a gross person.
I feel like in Harry Potter, like Voldemort, like the biggest bad in the whole thing is like very pale, thin, like he looks like he's like gonna like fall apart because he's like not even like a full human body anymore. He's like, I don't know. He's like he's like a seventh of a soul and like some magic potion.
He's literally
on the back of someone's head at one point.
Like, I understand that this has become a principle in visual and written media that there is this attachment. And I think in a lot of cases, it's bad and it makes people feel bad. And I think that, like, the idea of silhouettes is really important. And I think that it can be used really well. And it has been in the Steven universe. So, like, mostly there are positive things attached to their bodies.
Can we, like, talk about, like, I don't know if you'll agree with this, but I think that Rose, like, being, like, I'm, like, hesitant to call them women because they're gems.
Yeah, I know. I've been like, doing that a little, too.
A female-coded gem who is fat, but her being coded as extremely feminine, I like that a lot.
Yeah, me too.
Because I think a lot of time, like, fat women, like, IRL are, like, stripped of their femininity because they're just, like, there's a standards of like what a woman should look like and like they don't fit, so that like they're less of a woman than like thinner women. Like that's not fair. So I love that on Steven, like Rose is very feminine, surrounded by flowers constantly, loves pink, her hair is pink, and just like all these very stereotypical feminine traits on like a fat woman or fat gem, and like that's really cool to me and I like it, and like no one questions it, I think, at all, and I love it.
What a lot of people have said about Steven Universe, and I guess we have to say as a disclaimer, is that yes, they are coded, they are agender, they are coded as women. Children who are watching this see women and they see she her pronouns, which we unfortunately attach to women even though gender pronouns don't have a gender. But
yeah, that's important to point out. I feel like
kids who are watching this are seeing them as girls. Steven sees them as girls.
And I feel like they refer to them, most of them, with she pronouns too. Mm-hmm. But we're not like implying that they are like whatever. They're not a gendered.
They feel they are.
Yeah, like, or they might not connect to gender in like the same way that like humans do. Yeah. You know? So we don't really know everything.
We don't know about that. And I think that's nice. I think despite the fact that they are aliens, I think it's really cool to see agender and feminine characters. Like, I like that there's this universe where default agender is feminine, because default agender is usually masculine. And as a non-binary person, hello guys, your local non-binary, sometimes when I feel like it's okay to be a girl, I feel like I might not be non-binary. And that's a really bad standard that's been ground into me. I'm like, oh, is this invalid now that I'm feeling like it's okay to identify with feminine things?
There should be, I wish there was like a basis of like, I don't know. I just like want there to like not be a basis of like male or female. Because like, I feel like if you're like trying to figure out what your gender is, it's hard to like, okay, like, I don't know how to explain this, but I wish it wasn't just like, I'm either one of these things, and if I'm not one of these things all the time, then like, I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Yeah. I lost my track of thought. Okay. But like, if I like am questioning my gender and I was designated female at birth, I'm just like, if I have feminine traits, then I like must be what the doctors thought I was at first. Mm-hmm. But like, I wish there was a basis of like, you're whatever you want to be, and like, whatever traits you want to possess don't affect your gender identity. Like, I don't know. I feel like if you identify with feminine things, it doesn't make you feminine.
Yeah. I know, like, a lot of people who will do that, like, and people who will invalidate people's identities in that way. Like I know a couple trans boys who are super feminine, and they'll be like, well, maybe you're not a boy, and it's like
you don't know what their gender is. Like, leave them alone. They can wear do whatever they want.
It's especially with parents, I think. They'll be like, oh, you gotta be a girl because you wear girl stuff all the time, and you're just like, okay, that sounds fake. Like I could never explain being non-binary to my mom, probably.
Yeah, I feel like it's like hard for like
she would be like, but you
traditional
like sort
parents to
of think
understand.
you're a girl, right? And I'll just be like, kinda.
Like,
sometimes.
I feel like people are just used to like feeling like one gender all the time. They're just like, and like some people don't question how they're feeling, so they're just like, if I do these things, then I'm still the gender I thought I was previously.
Even if you perceive yourself as cis, sometimes it's great to take a step back and be like, why? What's up with that?
Yeah, I feel like I've been doing that too, and like a lot of the time I like don't find a good answer for it, you know? Like I'm just like, why do I consider myself feminine? I'm just like, I don't really know.
And there are like fringe identities. There's like a demi-genders where you just kind of like, you're like, sorta.
Yeah.
75% gal, I guess.
I like relate to that a lot because I feel like I'm like used to identifying as a female. I'm like, I don't think I want to change that, but like I don't feel a strong connection to being female. So like I'm just like I'm like sort of there, but not really. And I think that's fine. It's like kind of confusing like internally, but like, you know, it's like not a big deal if you're not cis, folks. Like it's a big deal because people treat you badly, but it's not a big deal like inside. Like that's fine. Like I don't know. I feel like some people are very defensive about like their gender, like just within themselves, and I'm like, you know, you can just question that and it's fine.
Yeah, you should always, when given the opportunity, just think about stuff a little more, and it's okay.
I think it like helps you in the long run too. A lot of the time, I don't know. Like if you don't, it's like with anything. If you don't question things, then you're always going to assume something that might not be fully true.
Yeah. And once you kind of like look at yourself and be like, hey, gender isn't real for a lot of people, or like our perceived gender stuff isn't like such a thing. When you try to like de-gender your face and your own body, and you're like, hey, that's not a thing. That'll help you when you're looking at other people.
Yeah. I feel like it could like help you like connect like with like your own self in a better way. It's just assuming things about yourself is not, I don't know. I feel like it could lead to issues.
Yeah. I've done a lot of like work, kind of de-gendering my face and feeling more comfortable about like different aspects and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
and I think it's like important to like extend that to others as well. Like, it wouldn't be a hard adjustment, but I think it's worth it. Because like if you like see like a certain feature or a clothing choice, and you're just like, that's related to a certain gender, like be like why, and then you're like, oh, it's not, and then like apply that to people. Like I mean, just like have that thought process where you're just like thinking like, why do I associate that with gender? Like, you'd probably just be like, I have no idea, just because I was told that, and then you can be like more accepting to people who are just like doing whatever they want. I don't know. Don't be mean to people who are doing what they want.
It's like people who put like the gems on the spectrum. You don't need to. You don't need to play that game.
People do that?
There are people who are like, oh, there's the guy. There's some people who like did the thing with Ruby. Those were people that I don't know why they're watching Steven Universe, honestly. And they're like, here's the feminine ones, and it's like, oh god. No, or the people who are like, we want a male gem, and you're just like, I'm pressing my face against the microphone in fury.
Like,
you don't need a dude gem.
You don't need one, and also Steven is a gem. So and he's the main character.
There's been
so
a lot
like,
of playing with gender in Steven. I'm actually really excited to see if once like I don't know if they'll ever dig into it. I feel like Steven's probably non-binary too.
That makes so much sense because like I feel like this is so complicated and I don't fully understand it, but like Steven like is Rose.
Yeah,
but like also Greg. So like but he still is Rose. Like, I don't know how that works.
And he still is like his Steven self as well. And I think like that concept of the loving being you thing, I guess like also Steven like looks up to and like just adores people who are really feminine and adores femininity and he loves being part of that and taking part in feminine things.
Yeah, he wants to like express that, and he like you can just like see how much he enjoyed it in that last episode where he was performing on stage. You could just see how happy he was, and that's chill.
And I cannot, as like an AFAB person, I can't say how transmasculine people feel about that scene. I haven't talked to anyone about it yet, but like I know a lot of people were really excited, and like it was pretty positive for them for the most part. They work pretty hard on making sure Steven's love of feminine things isn't funny.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like, and I feel like in that episode in particular, when like Steven realizes like it's not like Sadie who wants these things, it's him. He accepts it, and I feel like you can like visibly see him feel better about it afterwards. Because like he knew he was hurting Sadie, but he like realized that his motivations were that just like he wanted to do that stuff, and then he's like, I'm gonna go do it.
Yeah,
and that was it.
And he knew that kind of letting Sadie be by herself and kind of like de-stress about everything that they had put feminine pressure on her and put performance pressure on her, which is then the intersection of femininity and performance, and that she didn't want that, and she just wanted to be like her normal self. So they let her chill out, and she got to just like enjoy Steven enjoying that experience instead. I
feel like the whole like other episode of this podcast could just be like talking about like family relationships, because like in that episode I'm not gonna talk about it too much, but Sadie's mom like understanding that she doesn't want to like perform like that anymore was really cool to me.
Yeah,
I feel like parents actually relate to their kids a lot on Steven, which I feel like is
there's been so many
not seen that much
with parents in the Steven universe, and like weird of all weird things. My mom is like a bizarre combo of like Greg and Connie's mom, and like seeing like the pressure of like, you have to be where I know where you are. You have to be where I know what you're doing. I have to know about your life in every way. Seeing that be played out, and then seeing Mrs. Maheshwaran understand Connie was very cathartic and very much something I enjoyed seeing, when she was like, you can live your own life, Connie. Like, I'm not going to stop you from doing something that makes you happy.
It's just like, it's very nice to see like parents and or like parental figures like actually trying to understand their kids.
A lot of them are bad parents too, or like on the spectrum of bad parents.
Yeah, like they do, like a lot of them like do like things that are like questionable or like bad, but like I feel like most of them I think at the end of the day like they still like want what's best for their kids, which is like I feel like it's a great thing for kids to see,
and I think
especially if they're not experiencing that at home.
A trend with cartoons is either physically or emotionally absent parents, like. Either the parents simply don't exist because they're in a magical world or something, and they just don't want to deal with writing parents, or the parents, or it's like funny. It's like a Butch Hartman thing, really. I'm sorry, I'm gonna talk about Butch Hartman, but like in shows like The Fairly Odd Parents, like the parents are just so gung ho about their own lives and being excited in what they're doing, and what their life is like. They don't see that their kids are miserable sometimes, and like in Danny Phantom, they don't know their kid is a ghost because they don't care about his life enough. And they never really interact with him when it's not about them. And it's supposed to be funny that they don't care and they don't know.
I don't understand like that trend, or like the trend of like having absent parents, because I'm like I feel like with absent parents, like a lot of the times kids can't relate to that. Some of them. Oh wait, no. What am I talking about?
Kids are never taught how to navigate relationships with parents in media.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I was gonna get to. I think you said it way better than I did, but but like I feel like that's important to see, because I feel like everyone's just like, oh, media should reflect real life, like blah 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 blah. But also media should reflect like sometimes it has to reflect like a positive outcome of interactions. Like it doesn't. I feel like realism is important to a degree, but also kids being able to see like positive relationships happen can influence them and help them to like have positive relationships in their own lives. So that's super important. So I don't know. I'm like kind of mad at shows that like don't care about doing that.
And kids like growing up who are like non-conforming, kids who are like gender non-conforming, all kinds of stuff. Like you see them supported. You see Steven supported all the time. and it's really great in like whatever he's doing, if it's singing a weird little song or like dressing up in an outfit or we have gone through so many things. I think there was a lot of like tangents about life, and I think the discussion about appearances is really important, and it's a really great thing to talk about. We haven't even really gotten into like the sexuality stuff in Steven Universe, but like that's still such a thing.
I feel like this could like each be like a separate thing.
I could talk,
but like
we could talk.
I think we're just like tempted to like talk to everything at once because it's like so much cool stuff to talk about. So this is a part of the podcast where Hillary and I are just like, what do we want to do for our video? making this a part of our podcast.
How do we want to wrap it up?
Yeah, what do we want to discuss further in a more structured setting? We'll stick with body shapes, which we talk about like a little bit, but not fully.
Shapes. I have my, I don't know if it's a bone to pick, but like, amethyst eating thing, like the amethyst eating as a joke thing is sometimes weird, but since there are other characters who have sort of that kind of like body shape that's like that, and they're not all about eating, it feels less weird, and it's more like something like I feel like it's weird sometimes, but luckily her character is more than that. But like sometimes she'll just be in an episode and her only joke is like Amethyst is eating the cheese packets from the macaroni and cheese,
or she's like eating like actual trash.
Yes. Like, I think another thing to talk about with like body shape and gender is like the like idea that like fat people, especially fat women, are like always eating.
Yeah.
And that's like becomes a character trait, and it's like, what? That's not a character trait. It's like when you watch a show and their character trait is girl. But like with Amethyst, I find it is pretty minimally problematic. It's just kind of like you said, there's like other characters with like similar shapes that like don't do that. Yeah. I don't know. It's all about having. I feel like it's sometimes like a cheap joke, but yeah, I think so too. It doesn't always overpower things, which is cool. So like I don't know. Yeah, I think I think that one's complicated for me. I think that's one of the things that I have consistently felt uncomfortable with happening in the show sometimes. I feel like there's like other ways to like emphasize like that amethyst is weird and like even like amethyst like trying to fight things that like, I love. Be fought. Like Amethyst coming out like, I found this like weird Bobo doll and I'm gonna fight him. I found him in the trash. Yeah, like I think that's punching this inflatable thing and destroying it. Like like I win. And that just happened like as like a like kind of like quaint thing going on in the background is like funny. I think Amethyst's relation to like wrestling and like performance of like gender stuff in that one episode. And like Amethyst is also very sort of like I see like Amethyst is definitely like gender weird. They're all gender weird. But like Amethyst's experience of gender and the way she like acts out and is aggressive and is seen as sort of masculine at times, I see it very much being shut down by the Gems a lot. Shut down by Pearl. Shut down by Garnet even sometimes. Pull out the receipts. Yeah, there's like, oh, Amethyst is like being like silly. And I'm like, yes, to a good degree, but.
Are there any other wires around here I can't really quite reach? Or are you using them?
What are you looking for, like WFs?
Yes.
All right, you're good. You can take it.
Oh, I can take that?
Follow your dreams.
Sweet. And I'm even awake. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm going to have to edit that all out. We have to edit all of this out. It's like 8 people coming in and leaving. I don't want to edit this already. It's actually not that bad, and I think we've been having some pretty constructive talks. So about gender and bodies and other people policing their perceptions of gender. Like that happens. That happens with Amethyst. It happens a lot. And, like you can't and be. You can't be like this. You have to be calm and like rational and like not weird and cool. I feel like that's like just. I feel like that's a sort of like a gender thing, but also like. Very much a Pearl thing of like Pearl like needing order. I think that in what is it called, Tiger Millionaire, it is very much framed as a gender thing. Yeah, like, but I think that's cool. And you get into like Steven's wrestler story for Amethyst. It's like and she was like too wild and like too different from everyone else. And he was like. People see Amethyst as sort of like different and wild, and I think that's part of her personality outside of any gender feeling she has as well. But it's interesting to look at it like through that like
through that lens, like in that context.
And there's like that idea that like dudes have to be hyper masculine and stuff like that, and like that experience, she has to be like a big buff wrestler destroying people.
Yeah, I feel like there's like
Amethyst has so much body, I think dysphoria almost. Amethyst has trouble figuring out like how she relates to bodies, especially in the episode Reformed. When you look at all of the changes she had in that episode.
oh, that's
Amethyst
true. I'm like forgetting the titles, but
does
yes.
not want to spend time with herself to figure out what she should look like and who she should be.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the moral there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cool stuff going on with Amethyst.
Yeah,
it's
very like trying to find herself like within her own body and like even her personality. So I feel like she's like shut down a lot, and I feel like you can tell how much that affects her. Like in an episode where Pearl and Garnet fuse, and she's like she feels like very like left out and like kind of like isolated, and she's like no one wants to like connect with me in like a deeper way, and I'm just like Amethyst.
And it's like and it's like seeing like Amethyst fusions are like too aggressive, too wild.
Like Garnet's like, no, we can't make Sugar Light because
like,
it's like it's like too much, and like we like destroy everything. And she's just like, I feel like I love seeing like a more like
I'd like to know more about Sugalite. I mean, outside of the fact that she's voiced by Nicki Minaj, and I'd love to hear Nicki again.
Same. If they can like afford her, which they probably can. But like yeah, I don't know why that Garnet and Amethyst form such a aggressive like fusion.
Yeah.
Like why I feel like the fusion is like reflection of the two gems relationship. So why is that so? I feel like Garnet. I feel like they both have like a really like adventurous spirit, and like they both I think like the physicality of like fighting and stuff. But like why is it such a
also like the fury
angry
ran out of patience thing with Garnet, and that Garnet is balanced by the more sort of like toned down Sapphire elements.
Oh, and so like
and that like there's like so much aggression between like how Garnet has trouble not being angry sometimes. And I think there's also the way that aggression is differently coded and not as gendered with Garnet.
I'm like my mind is like being blown. I'm like clutching my head. Like
what?
like I'm just thinking of how like Ruby and Sapphire like are coded not just like from like a gender standpoint, but also like a race standpoint. Like Ruby like is like I would say Ruby is coded as like black, and Sapphire is coded as I don't know. I think you just assume the default of like whiteness, and like but Ruby is the one who has anger issues, and so I'm just like that makes that's like racial stuff.
Yeah, I'd also I have no voice in this conversation, but I had always assumed that Sapphire was also coded as black, but she does have like the white hair.
I was never
but she does
sure,
have like darker
but her like bluish
skin, and she has like the same like they both have the same like mouth shape that like Garnet has.
So I never knew exactly, and I feel like
but like I think it speaks volumes that Sapphire is coded as more feminine, and coded as like less racial.
Yeah, and like Ruby is coded as like very aggressive and black. And I don't know if that's me just thinking of like the voice actors as well, but I don't know. Like I feel like I just get like that like gut instinct to feel like Sapphire is like feminine and white, and like Ruby is like black and more aggressive.
Yeah, and Amethyst is also pretty coded as of color.
Yeah,
as well.
And like when like Amethyst and like Ruby combine, they kind of like overpower Sapphire, and then that's when like Sugar Light is formed, and like she's very aggressive. But like I guess that makes sense like why Sugar Light is like so like ready to fight, because like Amethyst and Ruby are like ready to fight like always, especially Ruby.
Down to fight.
But like I don't know how I feel about that now though.
I think that there's a lot of complicated stuff going on there, and unpacking that's really hard. And I think Steven Universe, a lot of the coding, if it's in a bad light, I don't think they mean it, but it's still weird.
Like I feel like through like all the good things that they have done, I feel like I like can sense that they have good intentions.
And then when you look at like the sardonyx plus pearl combination, like the crazy confidence and like the like wild and over talkative, and like I do love sardonyx too though.
I don't
But,
know
like,
how I feel about
also-
sardonyx.
also,
I feel like
like-
everyone loves her.
I complicated, like the only fusion I really don't like is rainbow quartz.
Oh, I don't know how I feel about rainbow quartz. I don't remember like what they're like at all. I
only
just
show
know
up
that
for,
like they're like a
5
good
seconds, like,
dancer.
I'm just kind of
Yeah.
not fond of their design.
Oh, okay. That's legit.
That's just like such a beef. Someone like fight me from the Steven Universe fandom. But like, I guess like you also have this thing where you talk when the designers talk about like how the fusions are designed is because it looks cool and it's like a combination of elements for both of them.
Yeah, I
But
feel like
you
everyone's
see,
excited
like,
to see them just because of their design.
A lot of like this more like you have like the larger ones being like more aggressive.
That's real.
You have like I don't know.
Any combination with pearl is like I feel like they're like more
Really
thin.
slim and mellow.
Yeah, like very slender and very like
And that's
graceful, agile.
yeah,
like
it's got that
graceful
bad
with their
like idea that like
movements
thin
even.
bodies are graceful, but I know that like that's part of Pearl's personality.
Yeah.
But it's also connected to Pearl's body. Yeah, a lot of stuff can be unpacked just through character design, just through bodies.
Yeah.
And this is so across media. And I think Steven Universe is a step ahead, even though in many ways, like kind of like icky things are implied through bodies and character
Yeah.
designs.
As a good friend of mine once said, not the worst, but not ideal.
Oh.
But hopefully we can explore this topic more in our video series,
We
Umbrella
have someone
Press
who like
project.
really wants us to leave right now.
Yeah, so we gotta peace out.
Yeah, we're
but
out.
you can catch us on YouTube,
yeah,
youtube.com/the
the
Umbrella Press.
Press and
We'll link all our social media to the
umbrellapress.tumblr.com
YouTube page.
and
Yeah.
at Umbrella Press on Twitter.
Yeah, so find
And
us.
we have an email too, right?
And an email, yes.
theumbrellapress@gmail.com.
That was
All
so in
right.
sync. Okay,
All
we'll
right.
see you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.